So how does it work is basically crit will give you a big substantial boost and also will make your gameplay way smoother. Even though the sim is obviously a bit different, but having lots of crit will basically ensure that you have some smooth gameplay up to a point. I would say like around, if you have around 40% crit, even more so, you basically have full uptime on Flurry, which means you can start thinking about actually putting just inscribed gems into everything if you want to have the easy choice, or if you want to even get a bit more DPS, but that can become also a bit annoying, you can put strength gems like bolt gems into red sockets. For this gear piece or gear set, I just put inscribed gems into it. Okay. So we have that. Cloak, Vengeance Wrap. We can already craft this. It's still going to be our best in slot cloak. Really strong. The alternatives are just not that strong for us. So yeah. For the chest we use Destroyer Breastplate, so another tier 5 item. This however drops from I think Cal Fast, yeah. So another harder item to get 100%, especially in the first week, depending also on which version of the raid we are going to get, like post pre-nerf, probably going to be post nerf. So still, however, even after post nerf, it's still going to be kind of a hard fight, especially if you are in a pack or so. So yeah. For bracers, we have bracers of eradication, and these bracers are really good. Not only they give us like lots of nice DPS stats, strength, crit. We also get 17 hit rating, which is going to be pretty significant in our whole gear set. As you can see, these drop from the lurker below, so you need to have someone with fishing in your raid. It's going to be important. And yeah, we also get one socket. The previous bracers we used here, which are the Blade Spire Warbands, are still pretty good here to use as well. So yeah. These, however, should be pretty much going to a Fury Warrior, since, again, it's a plate wrist item with crit and strength on it. And you can, again, make some argument for Red Paladins, but yeah, mostly they should go to Fury, unless your Red Paladin is vastly outperforming your Fury Warriors. Destroyer Gauntlets, next piece here, another tier 5 piece. Has strength and also lots of crit on it, which is pretty good. Drops from Leophora Sublime. He has also some pretty neat items, and he's kind of an interesting boss actually. He's like one of the demon hunters, few demon hunters in Classic that exist. But yeah. The next item is going to be probably one of the most sought after items in the whole game. We have a couple of these items. DST, and that's like another item that is similar to this, which is Belt of 100 Deaths. This belt drops from Lady Vash, so the last boss of Serpent Shrine Cavern, and it's an insanely strong item. It's a leather belt, has 29 agility, 2 sockets, I think it's a yellow and blue one, if I remember, red and blue one, and then you also have 7 attack power, and what's the most important about this belt, it has expertise on it. This belt will be your best in slot belt until you get the tier 3 belt in Sunwell. So yeah, basically for a long duration. This is a really strong belt because it gives you expertise, which is really rare, especially on a belt. Like I said, there are not really a lot of choices we can make. We have this belt and the tier 3 belt, which comes out later. So a really strong belt, really sought after. I think every single physical DPS wants to get this belt. So yeah, this will be always contested, and again, always, like not always, but this is going to be HR'd as well for a while. So you will probably see, like if you're joining packs, this will probably be the item that's going to be HR'd the most in SSC. Really strong belt. For us Fury Warriors, however, expertise is not that insanely big like for some other classes, so that's going to be a pretty important argument. Another thing is, however, on AoE, expertise is one of the best stats to get, since obviously if you are reaching the dodge cap and you have so many different hits, especially like in AoE, if something gets dodge, obviously that's like 0 damage, So that's going to be pretty insane. For single target, we can still make up with that if we are over power weaving, so we get some DPS back again, especially regarding the new tier we are getting here. But yeah, still, this is going to be a pretty significant build overall. The legs are kinda in a similar place, but not that much, which are the leggings of Murderous Intent. They drop from Calfars, the last boss in Tempest Keep, or the Eye. I don't really like the Eye name. I always call it Tempest Keep. But yeah, these are really strong. Not only do they have lots of agility on it, they also have 37 crit. So they basically almost give you like 3% crit. It is insane. It's mad how much crit you are getting from a single piece here. Again, the last bosses of these raids have insane loot, and that's also what you will see here, like many pieces are from the last bosses. These legs are also pretty contested, not as contested as Belt of 100 Deaths, because these legs can also, for example, for rogues, they don't even want to get these, they want to get the tier legs instead. But yeah, I think these are really fit for Fury Warrior, since they have a lot of crit on them. I mean, the agility is still also an argument you can make here. But again, this is pretty contested. I think Hunters also want to get this, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, at least Rogues don't want to get this. So this should be easier to get than Belt of 100 Deaths. Should be. But yeah, Calfars is also a pretty difficult boss, so... For boots, we have War Boots of Obliteration. Lots of strength, some crit. Yeah, that's kind of it. Pretty simple. Pretty good boots. They drop from Morgrim Tidewalker. A boss that has really good items for us. Actually 2 items we really want. That's one of them. These boots, however, are not such a big upgrade compared to Iron Striders of Urgency. So yeah, but still they should pretty much go to Fury Warrior as well, since again plate, strength, crit. Or you can again make arguments for Red Paladins. You are basically, like with many pieces, you are only really competing with Red Paladins here. Now we are coming up to rings. First of all, we have the Band of the Ranger General. This ring drops from Calfars as well, and is also one of the best items to get in this phase. This is an insanely strong ring. A strong ring. It has really good stats, lots of crit, lots of hit rating, lots of attack power, and it's also the best ring we can get in this phase. Glows from Calfars. This will be pretty important to get, because we are kind of lacking in hit here, and has like really useful stats for us. Really pretty contested over. So yeah. But other than that, pretty strong. For the second ring, we have Ring of 1,000 Marks. This is technically not the best installed second ring we use. It would be Ring of Reciprocity, which you can see here, but I didn't include World Boss loot here because I think it's pretty much impossible to get, and yeah, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So instead of Ring of 1,000 Marks, also going to be really useful because of the hit rating. Luckily I have it. So yeah, I'm going to use it in phase 2. Will be pretty important because it gives you like 19 hit rating, which is a lot. Especially also thinking about all of the other useful stats you're gaining. There are some ring alternatives we can use, we can get from this phase. But yeah, they are mostly also contested. One ring is not really contested, however, and will be pretty easy to get. For trinket AoE pack as well, this is going to be the best trinket to use as well. Yeah, really strong trinket. Other than that, we have a couple of choices we can make. So we get a new trinket here in this phase, which is Tsunami Talisman. I think also kind of a famous trinket, which drops from Leo Ferris. This trinket is really strong if the fight is going to take a really long time. This is basically an upgraded version of Hourglass Missile Reveler. As you can see, we get a bit more crit here. We also get hit rating. And the attack power bonus is like 40 more as well from the prop. So yeah, pretty significant jump, especially the hit rate is pretty useful. But again, this trinket will lose out against the Edge for shorter fights 100%. For longer fights it will beat Badge. This is the same thing as well. You can think of also replacing Dragon Spine Trophy with Tsunami Talisman if you don't have DST. That's also a choice you can make for this phase. But yeah, again, DST is vastly outperforming Tsunami Talisman, so you should really try to get your hands on DST. I made a video about that as well, how you can get DST, how you can raid lead it if you want to watch that as well. It's on my channel. But yeah. So that's for trinkets. We don't really have anything other than these trinkets. As you can see, there's like nothing really new here in this phase. So that's that. And for the range slot, we have Serpent Spine Longbow. This is going to be the one item which is like really unrealistic to get. This drops from Lady Vash, and it's basically going to be sought after. Like hunters are really obviously going to get this. Like first, it's like a big prior for them, 100%. Gives you some crit, gives you some attack power. It's an upgrade to what we used previously, like Endurance, and also obviously like Sun Fury Bow of the Phoenix, Arazan. But again, this is not the best upgrade, and this will be obviously really highly contested by your hunters. You won't really get this unless all of your hunters have it. So yeah. Again, however, this is the best in slot set. Doesn't mean it's the most realistic one. Actually, I could like for a big Ring of Reciprocity as well. It's kind of the same deal with that. Whatever. For weapons, main hand is Strength Strike. I talked about this a couple of times, but that's one of the big advantages we have in this phase. All we need to get are 5 Never Vortexes, and obviously also we still need to have Dragon Maw, from which we should have, I think, at this point. Or you still have some time, get Dragon Maw. This is the moment probably where it's the most important. That I need to just say it. Please get Dragon Maw, because in the next phase this will allow you to just get 5 Never Vortexes, which drop basically in the whole raid. This will be really easy to get, and this should be also prior to people who have blacksmithing weapons, 100%. Fury Warriors obviously being one of them. And that's all you need. So 375 blacksmithing, which you already have if you crafted Dragon Maw. You get 5 Never Vortexes, you get your Dragon Maw, and then you get your Dragon Strike. Dragon Strike, what it has more damage than Dragon Maw, obviously, as you can see, like 20 more of top end damage, a bit more lower end damage. So the DPS increases here. Same weapon speed, 10 more stamina, which is actually pretty nice. That's a nice bonus, especially for tanking. For Prot Warriors, this is still going to be a really good threat weapon, 100%. And yeah, free upgrade in your main hand, and you don't need to worry about anything else for this phase, which is really good. So yeah, again, please don't listen to people who say you don't need to get blacksmithing, it's not worth it to craft. It is still worth it, even now. Okay, so please don't listen to these people. They have no clue what they're talking about. This is basically one of the easiest big weapons you can just get from the get-go by just farming, and that's something you should 100% do. Next up, we have for the offhand, we have Talon of Ajara. This is going to be our new sought after offhand weapon in this phase. It's a really strong sword as well. This drops from Morgrim Tightwalker. So this is the second item we really want to get here. As you can see here, Morgrim Tightwalker. Really strong sword. It's really good stats, like 20 hit rating, 40 attack power, lots of agility on it. Really nice. So definitely a good and strong offense sword you can use. This is also the best weapon for rogues in this phase. So this will be pretty annoying for you. So you need to kind of compete with rogues here, as we can see here. If you go over phase 2 builds and then weapons, and you can see Talon of Ajara is the best weapon. The thing is, however, it kind of depends. So if you are, let's say, in a guild and your rogue has blacksmithing and has Dragon Maw already crafted, then obviously like Talon of Ajara should not go to rogues. Reason being, they can't use this weapon in their offhand. It's not possible. They need to use it in their main hand, and that would mean that you would need to ditch blacksmithing, which, I don't know, like depends on the rogue if they want to do that. In my personal opinion, then it should go actually to Fury Warrior, because they can always use it in their offhand. Doesn't matter which main hand they have, or they can use it in their main hand. They don't have a strong main hand weapon, like Dragon Strike, for example, or Dragon Ball. So that's an obvious kind of choice. For rogues, swords are definitely obviously like a really superior choice because of sword spec. Same thing for kebab warriors as well, but they have even less prio, I would say. So that's definitely something you need to decide on as a guild or so, or as a group. In my personal opinion, I would give it, it kind of depends how your rogue is looking like. If your rogue doesn't have blacksmithing, they should get Talon of Azura first. If they have blacksmithing and Dragon Maw, they should not get it and should go to the Fury Warrior instead. And the rogue should have some prio on another item instead. Maybe on some tier or whatever. So that's what I would think in this case. So that's that. Basically that's kind of all of the gear for the best in slot setup. Now let's talk about the more affordable, more obtainable setup, which is going to be this one. We have a couple of choices we can make here. Also, I need to replace this with this one, I think. Yeah. Here, like this setup, I kind of worked on myself. We use a couple of good items here, and mostly what you will see here is I only use one tier item in the setup. Reason being, tier items or tokens are going to be really contested early on, especially since we shared with feral tanks, which is going to be really annoying. So for the first week, we are probably going to get kind of nothing, I would say. Yeah. So let's talk about this set, and I'm going to talk about what kind of items are more easier to get, or some alternatives in this case. For the head, I talked about this in other videos. If you want to watch that as well, I've made a couple of videos about engineering. These goggles are really strong, and you only need 350 engineering to craft them. You can already get the materials right now, and you can prepare. So right when phase 2 launches, you can craft these, and you are going to be really strong right from the get-go. Well, actually you have a really strong piece. So yeah. Other helmets that exist are not really worth talking about. So yeah, just try to get either the engineering helmet, or you can aim for tier 5. Otherwise just use the tier 4 helmet. For the neck, Pendant of Perilius is basically the one we really want to get. There's one neck which is really similar to this, which is not Trash Drop, which is the Choke of Animalistic Fury, which drops from the lurker below. The difference here is, you can see the stats are pretty similar. Instead of strength, we get raw attack power instead, which is, however, worse. For example, 1 strength equates to 2 attack power. So if you get 32 strength on an item, it would give you 64 attack power. However, strength is something we can influence by using kings, and that doesn't work with attack power, meaning we actually get more strength than just the 32. All of our strength gets also amplified by kings, which is going to be pretty important. So again, if we can make the choice, if we would get the same like amount of attack power here, we will always go for strength instead. Also, strength has some other advantages, especially like if you are, for